So today we're looking at our SF544, which is kind of in the middle of our series of SF mowers. So what are our SF mowers? Well, they're out front rotary mowers, but with a central collection system, which means that they collect better than any other out front rotary mower on the market. So as I mentioned, our 544 is kind of in the middle. This is a 42 horsepower machine, and we'll have a look at the engine in just a moment. There is a slightly bigger one, the SF551, which has got a 49 horsepower engine, but the same size collector and is physically the same size as this one. But then you can go down to our SF237 and SF225, which have a 35 horsepower and a 24 horsepower engine respectively. And if you can just imagine this whole machine kind of shrunk down a little bit, that's what they are. They're just like a 80% version of this SF544 that you can see today. So at the heart of every machine is its engine. So let's start by having a look at that. So to get at the engine, what we have to do is tip this collector up out of the way. So just going to move that up. Obviously, when we're emptying it, once we've been cutting and we want to empty the collector, we would then go on and tip it like that. But I'm not going to do that right now. We'll show you that in a minute. For now, we just wanted that lifted up so I can show you the engine. So before we do anything under here, obviously we need to make sure we're safe. So there's built-in safety blocks here. We just clip them down. It means that if there ever was a failure, then the collector can't come down whilst I'm underneath it. So now you can see under the collector here, there's another little cover that we have to lift up, put that up out of the way, and now I can get at the engine. So the engine is our own ISEKI engine. It's a 3-cylinder, as you can see there. I mentioned before, 42 horsepower, 1.8 litre displacement. So again, we've got a big engine that we're turning relatively slowly. Turn this at 2,400 revs per minute. And that means that we don't get a lot of vibration. We don't use as much fuel. We just got a big engine that we turn relatively slowly. So it's not just about having this great, powerful engine that we've fitted to the machine. We've also got to make it so that your daily checks and routine maintenance are easy to get at. So as you look here, you can see the air cleaner system, very easily accessible at the top here. Dipstick just under here for those daily checks. And then from the filter's point of view, hydraulic oil filter here, fuel filter, and engine oil filter under there. So again, very easy to get at and all on this side of the machine. So we've been talking about the big powerful engine that we have in this machine. Obviously that's stage 5 compliant, as all our machinery has to be. That is the requirement these days. You may also notice that we're also HVO fuel ready. So if you want to use that kind of biodiesel in the machinery, it is ready to take that already. One of the things you notice as you jump on to the machine is just how comfortable it is and what a great field of view that I've got ahead of me here. Now I can make myself even more comfortable because I can adjust the steering column up and down so it will suit for people of all heights and sizes. And I can also just pull that forward so if the sun is catching that, I can see it clearly. So then you can actually see kind of the controls laid out in front of me here. Obviously this machine is road homologated. You can see the mirrors and you probably saw the lights earlier. So I've got a stalk here, which is just the indicators and lights that you'd expect. The rest of the controls here are to turn on the deck and the blower and also to adjust the height of cut and to control the regeneration of the stage 5 engine. But there's a couple of other nice little features here. I've got a button here where I can just slow down the blower a little bit. That saves fuel. And I've got another green button there that I can press. That also reduces the engine revs and if you like puts us into an eco setting. So for contractors who are using the machine a lot and obviously fuel usage is a big important issue, we've kind of made it so you can save as much fuel as you can to make the machine as economical as possible to use. So this machine, as you can see, is fitted with a 60-inch rotary deck. We do have a 1.4 metre flail, which can also be converted into a scarifier, which I'm going to show you a little bit later. This deck has actually got an extra fitted to it, an additional accessory, which in fact allows me to change the height of cut from the seat here. So you may be able to see the machine, the deck going up as I go from 25 millimeters all the way up to 125 millimeters as the height of cut. And I can do that from the little control here on the dash. So enough already about all the details of the machine. Let's go cut some grass. So we've got an area here. I've got to put my foot on the brake. Engine will now start up, give it some revs. Then I set the controls here. Now I'm going to turn on the PTO. That's turned on the blower behind me. It's also now turned on the deck. I'm going to cut this grass at around 50 mil. So I've now set the height of cut. So we can take the handbrake off and away we go. So it's really easy to control and great visibility as I look forward there. Now obviously this grass is relatively easy to cut. It's not that long, so I can go along at a decent pace. Maybe able to see here I'm picking up some leaves. This machine will act as a big hoover and hoover everything up pretty much ahead of you. Just come around here. Should be able to see that. It's done a lovely clean job. Literally there's nothing left there. I've hoovered up everything that there was there, as well as cut this grass down from around, I reckon it's maybe 100 mil. Cut that straight down to 50 mil in no time at all. So one of the great things about these machines is the versatility. You just saw me there cutting some semi-maintained grass. It does that really easily. But even if you've got longer stuff like this, it will handle it. So let's give it a go. We're going to cut along here and show you what it is capable of doing, even in this kind of long stuff that we've got here. So put the seatbelt on, the armrest down, start it up. Okay, then we're going to rev her up. Turn on the fan and the PPO. Handbrake off. Let's just see how it handles this kind of material. So I'm going to go a bit slower than I was when we were cutting the quite finer grasses, because obviously we are handling a lot of material here. But you should be able to see behind me that we're just chomping through this stuff and cleaning it up as clean as anything. So coming back, see that one line I've done there. Now I am cutting this quite high. I'm cutting this at about 120 mil, 125 mil. If I wanted to get it down, I would do that as a second cut. If you went right down to 50 mil straight off, you would have a risk of blocking it up or not cutting it as cleanly as you would want to. But look at the volume of material that we're just handling here with the rotary deck on it. And as I mentioned before, we'll go out with the flail deck in just a minute once we've finished this pass. So I mentioned previously that there are some other accessories that we can fit to this SF range of products, one of which is this 1.4 meter Muthing flail mower. Now we've taken off the rotary deck that was on the front and we've replaced it with this flail mower. Now this one can also cut and collect, but it can also cut and drop, and we'll show you how you switch between those two modes a little bit later on. One of the nice things that you do get with this deck as well is a stripe. So if you're looking for an area where you want to leave a nice stripe finish on your grass, this might be an option for you. So we're going to go cut some of this grass and show you the stripe. So you can see we've got some nice stripes left behind us. They've just been up and down a couple of times, cut this down. And that's one of the big differences between the flail and the rotary, that you can get a stripe with the flail that you don't get with the rotary. But as I mentioned before about this flail, we can change it from what it was doing there, which is cutting, collecting the grass. For if you've got a contract which requires cut and drop, you can easily change this machine from cut and collect to cut and drop. And I'm going to show you how you do that now. So to convert it from cut and collect, as we've had it, to cut and drop, we use the onboard spanner that comes with it. There's 4 bolts. I've loosened 3 already. Just do this last one here. And this panel here opens up. Then there's another panel here, which you take off, you turn around, and then we're just going to slide that in. Pretty simple, actually. It really isn't a workshop job. It is something that you can just do whilst you're out and about on a contract if you had to change from one to the other. And then we just close that flap back down, and then we do the bolts back up again. And I won't do all the bolts up on camera because it's a bit dull. So we've converted the flail to cut and drop from cut and collect. So here's some long stuff ahead of me here. So we're going to run through that, cut and drop it right here. So let's fire that up and then get the deck going. Obviously I don't need the blower now because I'm just using the deck at the front, and you can see how easily it's going to chomp through this pretty long stuff. So if you've got a contract where in some areas you've got to cut and collect, maybe leave a stripe, whatever, but other areas you've got heavy growth that you really just want to knock down, this could be an ideal machine for you because you've got that option of cut and collect, cut and drop with that changeover, which truly is an operator job. You don't need a workshop to be able to do that. And but you can handle heavy material as well as the cut and collect stuff. So we've done another couple of passes and the buzzer's gone off, which tells me that this collector here is full. It takes 1,300 litres actually, this machine. So it's a lot of material you can get in there. And let's have a look at what does it look like when that buzzer goes off. So if I just open this up, just look at that. Look how it absolutely packs the material in there. Now it does that, but it's got an actuator in there, a bit like a forage harvester, that feeds the material in, and it fills from the back to the front and it fills it evenly across. So you get a tremendous amount of material into these collectors before you actually have to empty them. But let's go ahead now and empty this out. So now I'm going to empty the machine. I just reverse back towards my compost heap here. And now I've got to lift the hopper up. And then once I've lifted it up, I can now tip it. And you'll see all of that lovely rubbish come pouring out. Look how high as well I can tip that. So if you want to tip into a skip or the side of a trailer, anything like that, we've got a lot of capacity to be able to, a lot of height there to be able to get into that. And away we go. So this is a great machine as well from a transmission and traction point of view. We have 4-wheel drive on demand, so the machine senses if a wheel starts to slip, it will automatically put it into 4-wheel drive. If you've got really bad traction conditions, I've also got a diff lock switch, which I can operate with my left foot there. So 4-wheel drive, diff lock, great traction in any conditions. But it's also got a tremendously high transport speed. So 20 kilometers an hour, believe me, that is quite fast. So if you're going places, you can get there quickly. Plus, you've got cruise control, so you can just set the pace and it will keep going. So that's the SF544 from our SF range of out front rotary mowers. So whether with the flail on the front or the rotary deck with a cut and collect, cut and drop, this really is such a versatile machine. Powerful and just does a great job in such a variety of conditions. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Certainly we've enjoyed making it. Having the opportunity to try the machines out in different conditions and with different accessories is great fun, and we've certainly enjoyed making it. So if you want further information, please go to our website, www.iseki.co.uk. Also on our website, there is a dealer locator. So if you're interested in a machine like this and you want a demo, there's an easy way there to contact your local dealer. So once again, I hope you've enjoyed it. Many thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you soon.